So today we have a portrait of my parents in a portrait format, and I want to convert it to a landscape format so that we can frame it in a frame that we have. So the first thing I'll do is I'll knock any colour out, take down the saturation, check the levels. It's fairly well spread between the darks and the lights. There's a lot of contrast already in the image. Now what I'm going to use is Photoshop's expand or generative expand, and just by pulling out the crop and hitting generate, it's going to give me some choices. Hopefully it'll rebuild my mother's arm and the edge of her dress. I'm okay with doing this because what her arm looks like is, not particularly specific. Now I wasn't happy with either or any of those choices, so going again, you can just keep hitting generate and it'll give you more and more options. So I think this first one of this next batch is the one I'll keep. Now I'll pull out the other side, and you can use these framing or these guides to sort of keep my parents' faces kind of central to the composition. I like this last one, but yeah, it's given him quite a large shoulder, a little bit David Byrne. So we'll try again. I like this middle one. There's a little bit more definition to the shape of his arm. Now that we have that, I can crop for my new aspect ratio, more landscape. Apply, and there we go. Now what I'll do at this point is collapse it all by right clicking and then merging all layers. And now with the spot healing tool, I can start to take out all the dots and blemishes. I don't think my father had dandruff, but always good to give him the benefit of the doubt. As you can see, I'm always dynamically resizing my brush to hit tiny little areas or hit larger areas as we go, keeping it nice and fine for the detail areas of the face. Now the heel brush tool is interesting. It's similar to the other tools, but what it does is, like a clone brush, it clones detail, but takes the luminance of the patch that's underneath it. So you can actually copy detail from above my mum's head there and then clone it over to other areas, and it blends right in. It's good for doing big patch jobs on large areas of a similar texture. Now going to neural filters, I'm going to try and use the photo restoration filter to try and reduce some of the noise Now you can see that it starts off with the enhancing face feature, but it makes everybody look a bit cartoony, so I generally set that quite low. Just sharpens things up a tiny bit, which is what I want. It is lifting the luminance of the jacket. I'm not so happy with that, so I'll set this out to a new layer, and then you can see the result there, and then go back to my levels and just deepen the bottom end a little bit, bring back some of that contrast. Lastly, going back to neural filters, I'm going to give colourise a bit of a go. And as you can see, it's done a pretty good job. There's a few wacky colours there. So what I'll do is export that as a separate layer, a colour only layer. And then making sure that my colour picker is set to current layer, so it only samples the colour on that new colour layer. I can get a broad brush, just sample some colours. And then just start correcting, knocking out some of these blue tones in the background and making it more neutral, which I think suits the image better. Next is Dad's jacket. Probably red and blue aren't good. I think what I'll do is open up the colour palette, which is F6 on the keyboard, and actually go for more of a straight grey with just a touch of blue in it. Now I know my mother's dress was a very pale coral pink colour. It's always handy to have somebody you can ask for what colour things should be. Now I've actually coloured a little bit onto her arm there, so I'll just select her flesh tone and restore that. Now Dad's got a bit too much lipstick on as well. So sampling colours around his face, I can just knock some of that back. Check the levels once more. Any final tweaks? I did notice I've missed a few little spots with my cleanup. I am rushing through this a little bit. So there was a spot there and there was a little patch down there. A couple of last little strokes. I've also noticed that my mum has quite brown hair in the colourised version, and that wasn't accurate. Her hair was quite black. And there you have it.